Welcome to Macabre Miscellanea, a curated collection of creepy curiosities. Jack Mercer documents things for a living, specifically dead phones, the kind bolted to walls no one visits, in parking lots no one uses, on lines that haven't carried a voice in decades. He has a system. He has labeled boxes. He has 47 hours of field recordings going back 6 years. The county archivist tried to warn him. Digging, she said, is just volunteering. Jack wrote that down too. He put everything in the record. The phone, it turned out, was doing the same thing. Tonight's tale, the phone booth. Turn down the lights. Let's begin.
My laptop hums like it hates me. The grant draft sits open, half written, half apology. I keep rewriting the same sentence because every version sounds like I'm asking a stranger for bus fare. Project summary. This research examines the cultural and civic impact of public communication infrastructure. Delete, retype, delete again. I stare at the cursor blinking like it's bored of my whole career. Around me, my apartment looks like a storage unit got a degree. Archival boxes stacked against the wall, each one labeled in neat black marker. Payphones A to D, Milltown clippings, field photos, 2019 to 2024. The kind of organization people compliment right before they ask if you're okay. I am not okay. I'm functional. I swivel in my chair and look at my research wall. It's not corkboard and yarn because I'm not a detective. I'm a historian, which means it's a tasteful grid of printed photos taped to the wall with masking tape that keeps peeling. Rusted phone booths, sun-bleached signage, keypads worn smooth, little ghost monuments to the idea that someone once needed to reach someone else and didn't have a rectangle in their pocket. My phone buzzes on the desk. An email notification. I don't open it. I already know what it says. We regret to inform you. I'm on a deadline I can't charm my way out of. The submission window closes Friday at 5 p.m., and my department chair already told me, politely, professionally, that if I miss it, the project dies. Not delayed, dead. No grant means a no renewal. No renewal means these boxes become a phase I had before I started selling plasma to pay rent. I pick up my pen and tap it against the notebook until the clicking gets under my skin. I lean toward the wall and squint at one photo, a booth I shot last fall. The plexiglass looks like cataracts. The handset hangs crooked like a slack jaw. I tell myself, out loud, this matters. My voice sounds thin. I sit back down, crack my knuckles, and type again. The cursor blinks, patient, predatory. I don't notice I'm holding my breath until my lungs start to burn. I exhale hard like I'm pushing something away. Then I keep writing, because if I stop, I have to admit this whole thing might be a hobby with a tax write-off, and I do not want to admit that today. Not yet. So I do what I always do when doubt gets loud. I go find something to document. Fieldwork sounds noble in a proposal. In practice, it's mud and soaked socks and convincing yourself that being cold counts as methodology. I grab my camera, my notebook, the little zip bag of gloves I keep pretending I'll use, and I drive out to a roadside booth I flagged months ago. One of those half-dead payphones clinging to the edge of the county. The ditch smells like wet pennies and old gasoline. I'm crouched beside a roadside booth that's been flattened by weather and time, my jeans soaking up cold mud like a sponge. I hold my camera close, framing the keypad. The plastic buttons are cloudy, their numbers barely visible. Something, oil, dirt, human skin cells, has worked into the grooves over decades. I zoom in until the image fills my screen. 7 is almost gone, 9 is worn smooth. Site 12. I murmur into my recorder because I always do this part like I'm narrating a documentary no one will ever watch. Route 45, booth appears intact, significant abrasion to keypad. I look down at what appears to be used syringes and resume. Possible repeated use post-service. My voice comes out steady. I sound professional. If I keep talking, I can pretend I'm not alone in a ditch. A truck rolls by on the road above, tires hissing on damp asphalt. It slows. I feel it before I hear it. I glance up. The driver's head is angled toward me. Long look, the kind that says, "What the hell are you doing?" I lift my hand in a little wave, casual. Like crouching in a ditch photographing a dead phone booth is something regular people do between brunch and a Target trip. The truck accelerates, the engine note rises, and it's gone. I exhale, a short laugh of embarrassment. "Yeah," I say to the recorder. Totally normal behavior. I stand, my knees cracking, and the booth looms beside me. It's not tall, it's not imposing, it's just there, quiet, waiting. I take one more photo, then another, then one more, because I never trust the first two. My thumb smears a raindrop off the lens. The world blurs and sharpens again. My boot slides on the slick mud. It happens fast. The universe reminds me I'm not graceful. My knee slams into the frozen ground, and my jeans snag on a jagged piece of metal. Fabric rips with a stupid, loud sound. I hiss through my teeth and grab at my pant leg. The tear runs from the knee down the shin, a long, crooked mouth of denim. Cold air bites the skin underneath. Perfect, I mutter, because of course I'm bleeding for a project nobody cares about. I push myself upright, testing my weight. My leg holds, but it's angry. The knee throbs, and when I take a step, there's a hitch. Small, but there. A little limp I can't talk my way out of. I keep narrating anyway, because it's either that or admit I'm alone in a ditch tearing myself open on a dead phone. Catalog first. Feel later. I sling my bag over my shoulder and climb out of the ditch. Back in the car, I peel the gloves off and try not to look at the smear of brown under my fingernails. The heater wheezes. My camera sits in the passenger seat. I flip through the photos at stoplights, keypad close-ups, the worn 9, the grime in the seams. Yeah, this one will be a nice addition. Now on to the next. I've already got a lead taped to my wall. Last fall's photo, the strip mall booth with the milky plexiglass and the handset hanging like a slack jaw. I flagged it as intact, no dial tone, then got distracted by a dozen other dead phones and a grant deadline that doesn't care about my curiosity. I pull the image up on my laptop, zoom until the background gives up its secrets. Roofline, service road, a dumpster enclosure. Enough landmarks to determine the location. I check the time to see if I can still hit up another one, but who am I kidding? There's no one waiting for me at home. So I head off to the commercial district. Late afternoon turns the world bruise-colored. The sky is low and gray, the kind of winter light that makes everything look abandoned even when it isn't. The strip mall is exactly what I expected and still worse. A long row of shuttered storefronts with sun-faded signage, cracked asphalt, weeds pushing up through the seams, like they're reclaiming the whole place inch by inch. I park near the back, where the lot drops off into a tangle of brush. My tires crunch gravel that sounds too loud. The moment I kill the engine, the silence presses in. I sit there a second with my hands on the steering wheel. I can hear my own breathing. It feels invasive. Okay, I tell myself. You're looking at a phone. I grab my bag, camera, notebook, recorder. I lock the car out of habit, even though if something wanted my stuff, it could just take it, or take me. That thought is stupid. I shove it away. I push through the brush behind the building. Branches scrape my coat. Dead leaves crunch under my boots. The air smells like wet wood and old garbage. Then I see it. At first it's just metal, a warped frame. Then the milky plexiglass, clouded like cataracts. Then the payphone itself, bolted to a post, like someone nailed a relic to the world and walked away. No power lines, no buildings open, no hum of anything alive. It shouldn't be here. Not like this. Not intact, not waiting. I slow down without meaning to. My throat goes dry. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. It's not fear exactly. It's the sensation of stepping into a place that remembers more than it should. I step under the frame, the temperature shifts, it's subtle, like walking into shade that shouldn't be colder. My skin prickles anyway. My breath comes out a little whiter, a little denser. The plexiglass panels are warped, cloudy, covered in fine scratches that catch the light. I run my fingertips along one panel and flinch at the grit. It feels like ground teeth. The payphone is mounted on a post at chest height. The casing is scuffed, the metal edges pitted with rust. The coin slot is taped over with old yellowed tape that's cracked and peeling. Someone tried to close it off and time ignored them. The keypad makes my stomach tighten. Certain buttons are worn smooth in patches, not evenly. Not from normal use, more like someone hammered specific numbers until their fingertips bled. I lower my thumb and press it lightly against the 7. The plastic is warmer than it should be. I pull my hand back like it bit me. The cord that connects the receiver is frayed, the outer sheath split in places. It hangs with a slack curve that looks too much like a noose for my comfort. The receiver sits in the cradle, slightly crooked, as if it was put back in a hurry. I swallow and force myself to breathe through my nose. The air smells like wet metal. Okay, I whisper, because I'm apparently the kind of guy who whispers to machinery. Okay, it's a thing. It's just a thing. My voice sounds swallowed by the booth, like the plexiglass holds it. I glance behind me. The lot is empty, no movement, no cars, just weeds and dead signage. But the space feels occupied, not by a person, by attention. I hate that thought. I hate that my brain gives the booth motives. I pull out my recorder with a hand that's steadier than I feel and click it on. Site location confirmed, I say, forcing my tone into professional calm. Abandoned commercial property, payphone present with no visible external power source. Physical conditions suggest prolonged exposure but unusual preservation of primary components. My words sound ridiculous in the air, like I'm trying to paper over something that isn't paperable. I take photos, wide shot, medium, close-ups, the keypad, the coin return, the frayed cord, the manufacturer plate, except the plate is missing, leaving behind 2 empty screw holes like eyes. I pull out a little EMF meter from my bag. I bought it online during a bout of late-night curiosity and shame. It's the kind of tool that makes you look like you believe in ghosts, even if you tell yourself it's for environmental documentation. I turn it on. The display flickers once, the bar rises, then drops back to 0. Cute, I mutter. I take another photo, then another. I keep moving because stopping feels like giving the booth a chance to speak first. My hands do what they always do, build a record, make the moment obey me through documentation. I crack a joke because I'm me. Congratulations, Jack. You found the world's worst museum exhibit. The booth doesn't laugh. The strip mall doesn't laugh. The wind doesn't even bother. I tuck the EMF meter away and scribble notes, my pen scratching loud in the quiet. Keypad wear, targeted. Receiver, crooked placement, cord, frayed. Temp shift inside frame, noticeable. I stop writing and stare at that last line, temp shift. Like I'm describing weather. My stomach twists. I don't like how normal my note makes it look. I take one more photo, up close on the receiver. The plastic looks slightly glossy, as if it's been handled recently. I tell myself it's moisture. Condensation? My imagination? Then my recorder picks up a faint sound I didn't make. A tiny click, like a line opening. I freeze, listening. Nothing. I swallow hard and force my hands to move again. Catalog first, feel later. The phone rings. It doesn't start loud and become noticeable. It just is sudden and clean, like someone pressed the sound directly into my teeth. My jaw vibrates, my eyes water. For a second, I can't move. Not because I'm brave. Because my body's trying to decide if this is an actual sound or something happening inside my skull. I whip my head around, scanning the lot. Empty. Dead storefronts, weeds. A gray sky that offers nothing. The ringing continues, patient and invasive. I take a step backward and my heel catches on uneven asphalt. I stumble, catch myself on the plexiglass panel, and it squeaks under my palm like a living thing. My heart thumps hard enough that I feel it in my throat. This is... No, I say out loud, because denial likes an audience. The phone keeps ringing. I move closer, slowly, like I'm approaching an animal that might bolt or bite. My fingers hover near the receiver. I look for anything explainable, a hidden speaker, a prank wire, a car parked somewhere with a Bluetooth device. Anything. There's nothing. Just the booth, the phone, the sound. My skin feels tight over my arms. I realize I'm holding my breath again. The ringing doesn't speed up, doesn't get frantic. It's not begging to be answered. It's not even asking. It's insisting. My brain launches into its little emergency committee meeting. Old line, residual voltage. Someone wired it for fun. Urban explorers, local kids, a generator hidden behind the building, a speaker in the post. Every explanation feels like a toddler trying to cover a broken window with a sticker. I glance over my shoulder again. Empty lot, empty sky, no witnesses to make me feel less stupid. The phone rings and rings and rings. I mumble, "This is a bad idea," and the words land with zero authority. My hand reaches anyway. Reflex beats logic. Curiosity beats caution. My fingers wrap the receiver and the plastic is heavier than it should be. Cold-warm at the same time, like it can't pick a temperature. I lift it. The ringing stops instantly. The silence that replaces it feels thicker, like the booth swallowed all the sound in the world. I bring the receiver to my ear. The cord hangs between us, frayed and trembling slightly like it's breathing. For half a second, there's only a faint hiss, like an open line, like distance. Then a voice, calm and close, says,
"Don't talk. Don't move."
Not unkindly, and my spine locks up like it's obeying before I can decide whether to. I don't remember the drive home. That's the part that scares me later, when I try to reconstruct my own evening like I'm one of my own case files. I'm in my car, hands locked on the steering wheel, knuckles pale. The booth is miles behind me, but the voice isn't. It's still pressed against the inside of my ear like a fingerprint. Don't talk, don't move. I pull into my apartment lot too fast, tires crunching gravel. The engine ticks as it cools. I sit there anyway, breathing through my mouth, staring at the dark outline of my building like it might have changed while I was gone. My phone is in my hand before I decide to unlock it, thumb hovering over the screen like it's waiting for permission. I call the county archive because it's the only number attached to the files and because I need another human voice in my ear before the ringing gets ideas. She answers on the third ring.
County Archive.
Jack Mercer, I say. I'm researching the Milltown disappearance files. A beat, paper shifts on her end. Not the sound of someone looking something up. The sound of someone putting something down.
What happened?
Not, how can I help you? Not, what do you need? Straight to what happened. My grip tightens around the phone. I found the booth behind the old strip mall. It rang. Silence longer this time, then...
The phone.
Yeah, I say, and I answered it. When she speaks again, the flatness is gone.
You need to stop.
Stop what?
Stop touching it. Stop writing about it. Stop making it noticeable.
A breath.
People who keep going end up in my boxes.
I laugh once, sharp and ugly. That's not helpful.
It isn't meant to be helpful,
she says.
It's meant to keep you alive.
My stomach drops. Listen, are you telling me the phone? Her voice lowers.
Go home. Lock your door. Do something ordinary. Wash dishes. Watch television. Do not go back there.
Have you answered it?
No, I'm still here, aren't I?
My apartment feels smaller than it did this morning. Same walls, same furniture, different air, like something followed me in on my shoes. I drop my bag by the door and stand there, not taking my coat off, like I might have to leave again fast. Okay, I tell myself. Baseline, evidence, that's what you do. I set my recorder on the kitchen table, the same cheap little device I've used for years. It looks harmless, like it couldn't possibly carry anything poisonous. I plug it into my laptop. The screen shows the file list. I click the newest recording and hit play. My voice fills the room. Calm, professional. Site location confirmed. I sound like a guy doing a job. I let it run. The narration is clean. Keypad observations, chord condition, temp shift inside the frame. My own competence is almost funny. Then I hear the ringing start on the tape and my stomach tightens, even though I already know it's coming. I hear myself pick up. The ambient noise changes. The lot goes slightly muffled, the way it does when you put something to your ear. Then the voice, close and clear, don't talk, don't move, then nothing. I sit forward. The recording keeps running. Wind. The faint tick of cooling asphalt. A car passing somewhere on the main road, very distant. The booth's frame creaking once in the cold. No footsteps. I scrub forward 30 seconds. Still running. Still the lot. Still nothing moving. I scrub forward a full minute. Same ambient bed. The file hasn't ended. I'm still there, apparently, standing in that lot, not moving, not speaking, not documenting. The recorder in my pocket catching everything except me. I check the timestamp on the file. It runs 11 minutes from start to finish. My narration takes maybe 4 of those. The call takes less than 1. That leaves 6 minutes of me standing in a parking lot I have no memory of. No sound of the receiver going down. No sound of me stepping out of the frame. No footstep, no coat rustle, no car door, no engine. At some point between that voice and this kitchen, I left. The tape doesn't have it. My memory doesn't have it. The only evidence that I ever moved at all is that I'm sitting here. I close the laptop. My hands are very still on the lid. I'm a person who documents things. I have 47 hours of field recordings going back 6 years. I have never once failed to narrate my own exit. At 3:33 a.m., my cell phone rings. I know it's 3:33 because I am already awake, staring at the ceiling, running the tape back for the 100th time. 6 minutes, no exit on the record. I've been lying here trying to decide if that means something or if I'm a person who dissociates under stress and has been building a mythology around it. The ringtone cuts through the room. My screen lights up. Unknown caller. I stare at it. My thumb hovers, then I let it ring out. Because I'm a person who makes good decisions at 3:33 a.m., the moment it stops, my landline rings. I haven't used that landline in years. It's there because it came with the apartment, a relic I keep meaning to disconnect and never do. It rings anyway, that old tinny insistence. Like someone hitting a bell with a very small hammer. I sit up. The microwave display flickers in the kitchen. Not the timer. Not a power surge. Just the numbers, stuttering, rearranging, settling briefly into something that isn't a time before cycling back. I watch it from the doorway. It does it again. Patient. Deliberate. Like something is working out how much it can do from where it is. My cell lights up again. Still unknown. Still 3:33 somehow, the clock not moving. I pick it up this time. Don't answer it. Just hold it and feel it vibrate against my palm and think about the tape and the 6 minutes and the way that maintenance note said loop, like it was a technical term and not a threat. The landline stops. The microwave settles. The cell goes dark. The room sits quiet, but it's not the quiet of nothing happening. It's the quiet of something that has made its point and is willing to wait. I put the phone down on the nightstand, lie back, stare at the ceiling. By morning, I've convinced myself there has to be a record of this. So I go back to the only place that turns nightmares into inventory. The county archive basement has that specific smell of wet cardboard and old toner. It's like breathing in paperwork. The fluorescent lights buzz with a faint, constant irritation. I sign in at the desk. The librarian doesn't look up right away. She's in her late 50s maybe, hair pulled back, reading glasses perched low, the expression of someone who has watched too many people chase weirdness and come back worse.
Name?
She asks. Jack Mercer. That gets her eyes up. Not surprise, recognition. She finds my file without hurry, slides it toward herself, then slides a cardboard box toward me like she's feeding a bear.
Milltown Files.
She says, "Thanks." I pull it closer. The box feels damp cold under my palms, like it's been stored too near a foundation wall. As I lift the lid, she finally looks at me. Not friendly, not hostile, just measured.
You should have gone home.
She says, "Probably."
You picked the fun ones.
"Fun?" I repeat. She nods toward the box.
Disappearances, unsolved. The kind where everyone in town has a story and nobody agrees on the details.
Occupational hazard, I say. I try to grin. It comes out wrong. My face does that thing where it remembers how to smile but forgets why. She watches me for a second longer than comfortable. Then she says, flat and quiet, like she's reciting something she's said before, and will say again,
Digging is just volunteering.
I blink, pen frozen over my notebook. Volunteering for what? I ask, already hating myself for how that sounds. Like I'm leaning in. Her mouth tightens.
For being next.
She says, then turns back to her computer like the conversation is over. I laugh. I actually laugh because my body does that when it doesn't know what else to do. That's uplifting. She doesn't laugh back. She doesn't even glance at me. I open my notebook anyway, because of course I do, and write the line down word for word. My handwriting is neat. The letters sit obediently on the page. The warning becomes data. I file it under local folklore and archival gatekeeping humor, then open the box and get to work. I start with a gray reel in a plastic case, the label half faded from being handled too many times. This has to be the last county on Earth that still uses microfilm. I sit at the reader, hunched, squinting, as images scroll past in jittery black and white. Faces, headlines, grainy photos of a town that seems smaller the longer I look at it. The same intersection, the same diner, the same sad brick buildings. A missing teen, a young woman, a man in his 30s, spread across a few years, clustered tight enough to make your stomach tighten if you let it. The articles all do the same dance, concerned quotes, community shaken. Police investigating leads, a prayer circle, then silence. I switch to incident logs. The language changes, gets colder. Names become entries, dates become numbers, locations become short phrases. And then I see it, repeated in all three cases. Last known location, near the phone. The page has a faint watermark. Faust and Sons, Dreamlink Infrastructure Review, like the paper is embarrassed to admit where it came from. Not near the Payphone off Route 45, not the Payphone near the strip mall, just the phone. I scroll. Another case, witness report, ringing heard near the phone. Another case. Subject, advised, avoid the phone. I stop. My finger hovers over the knob that scrolls the reel like I've touched something hot. The phrase repeats. Not often enough to be obvious, just enough to feel intentional. Like someone kept trying to write it down without writing too much. My pulse ticks up. I can feel it in my fingertips. This is the part of my brain that lights up. Not fear, not caution, not pattern recognition. The hungry little animal inside me that smells meaning and starts dragging it home. I flip to the next folder. Same era, same town, another disappearance. Located items, wallet, keys, pager, last seen near the phone. I whisper, "What phone?" The words bounce back at me off the plastic shell of the microfilm reader. I turn in my chair and look at the librarian at her desk. She's typing. Her shoulders are rigid, like she's bracing for impact. I don't ask her. I already know she'll tell me to stop. That'll make me want to continue, just to prove I'm not superstitious. I hate that about myself. I do it anyway. I pull out my notebook and start a list. Cases referencing the phone. My handwriting stays neat even as my thoughts start to run. Whatever the phone is, it's a landmark that they learned not to name too loudly. And now I'm naming it repeatedly in ink. Witness statements are worse than headlines. Headlines are sanitized, witnesses bleed around the edges. I read a typed transcript from a woman who worked the night shift at a convenience store that doesn't exist anymore. Her words are clipped, like she's trying not to be responsible for what she saw. It rang when it shouldn't, like it was already ringing before it started. I swallow. That sentence doesn't make sense, and my brain keeps trying to fix it. It was ringing before it started. Like time stuttered. Next statement. A guy in his 20s at the time describing his friend going over by the phone like it was a normal errand. He looked back at me like he heard his name, but nobody said anything. The next one is short. A woman, no age listed, describing her husband. She found him at the booth, standing, not responding when she called to him. She touched his arm. The receiver dropped. He turned around like he'd just woken up and asked her what time it was. Investigating officer's note at the bottom, receiver found on ground, subject unable to account for duration of contact. I pause. Pen hovering. My own throat tightens, weirdly, as if my body recognizes the sensation of hearing something you shouldn't. Another transcript, a teenager, nervous. The page has smudges where someone handled it too much. I didn't hear it with my ears, I heard it in my head, like when you can feel someone staring. My fingers start tapping the desk unconsciously, a slow rhythm. I force them to stop. The next statement has one line underlined in red, like some investigator got annoyed. The caller knew where I was standing. That one lands hard, too specific, too wrong. I lean back, chair creaking, and rub my face. My skin feels too warm. The basement air is damp cold, but my palms are sweating. I can hear the fluorescent lights buzzing above me, the faint scratch of the librarians typing, the distant thunk of pipes. Normal sounds. Comfortingly boring. Then I realize my tapping restarted. Stop. I press my hand flat on the table until my fingers go still. I tell myself quietly, these are scared people. Memory is messy. Trauma warps details. And immediately another part of me answers, meaner. Then why do they all warp the same way? I scribble a note anyway. Pattern. Caller knows position. Fear, response consistent. My handwriting stays controlled, but the page looks like I'm building a case against reality. I go back through the box. Near the bottom, clipped to a service report, I find a photocopied maintenance addendum on county paper, folded hard enough to leave white stress lines at the creases. F&S maintenance addendum. Line status. Physically disconnected. No voltage. No service. Complaint. Ringing reported near the phone during outages and quiet hours. Note, this isn't on a line, it's on a loop. Do not dispatch alone. Treat as unstable test equipment. I read it twice and the fluorescent buzz above me sounds suddenly personal. I feel stupid. Then I feel angry. Then I feel the familiar itch under my skin that says, now you have to. Believe me, I didn't want to. But I know that itch would not leave unless I went through with it. I spread out a faded municipal map that smells like dust and glue. The paper is soft at the folds, worn thin from being opened and closed for decades. My finger traces the old commercial strip behind the mill town's main road. Half the businesses are gone now. Some moved, some died, some probably never existed outside this map's polite little rectangles. Then I see it, a tiny dot, a printed label. Payphone. It's so mundane I almost laugh. Like they marked a shrine. I tilt the map closer to the light. The ink is faded but legible. It sits behind what used to be a strip mall. No address listed, just the dot. The phone, like it's the only one that mattered. The map has a faint street grid along the margins, and the back service road is drawn in that old optimistic way. Like every line leads somewhere. I pull up satellite view on my phone and start matching shapes. The bend in the main road, the drainage ditch, the long rectangle of the strip mall's footprint. It takes 3 tries and one ugly little thrill, but the dot finally lands in a real place behind a dead row of storefronts. I feel that stupid thrill in my chest. The historian's high. The moment where you convince yourself you're discovering something, even though it's been sitting in a box for 25 years, waiting for someone with too much curiosity to pick it up. I look over at the librarian. She's pretending not to watch me. I say softly, mostly to myself, "It's just a payphone." The words sound like a spell. Like if I say it enough, it'll become true. I pull out my notebook and write the location reference down. Careful. Then I do something that makes me hate myself. I grin. Not because I'm happy, because I'm winning. Because something secret just cracked open, and my ego thinks that means I'm in control. I cross-reference the map against satellite imagery, drop a pin behind the strip mall, and pretend that makes this scientific. But the dot stays in my head, bright as a lit cigarette in a dark room. Daylight is supposed to fix things. That's the lie we tell ourselves. Monsters hate sunlight. Bad ideas look better in the morning. I drive back anyway. I bring a stopwatch, I bring a notebook. I dress like it matters, like a clean flannel will keep time from biting me. The strip mall looks even more pathetic in daylight. The weeds are brighter, the cracked pavement more honest. Everything is plain and ruined and normal, except the booth. It's still there, waiting. I don't start the stopwatch when I step out of the car. That would give reality too much room to argue. I keep it in my pocket until I'm at the patch of gravel beside the booth. The exact spot that felt like a tripwire last time. The moment my boots hit the stones, I hit start. The phone rings at the same instant. I look down. 2 seconds. And my lungs already feel like I've been walking for a minute. I laugh under my breath because what else do you do when the universe is being smug? Okay, I say, okay, cute. I step under the frame. The air shifts, cooler, close, like a room that's been waiting with the lights off. The phone rings. Patient. I lift the receiver and hold it to my ear without saying hello. The hiss of an open line, then,
You came back.
not surprised, not pleased, just noting it the way you'd note the weather. I did, I say, because apparently I'm having a conversation with a payphone. Silence on the line, not empty, occupied. Then,
You brought the stopwatch.
my grip tightens on the receiver. I didn't mention the stopwatch. I haven't mentioned anything. Yeah, I say carefully.
6 minutes.
The voice says.
That's what you couldn't account for.
My stomach drops. That's the tape. That's the gap in the recording I found in my kitchen last night. Nobody knows about that. Nobody could. Who are you? I say. A pause, the kind that means the question isn't wrong, just inconvenient.
Someone who needs you to do one thing correctly.
That's not an answer.
No,
The voice agrees.
it isn't.
I shift my weight and the voice says, flat and immediate.
Don't.
I freeze. It didn't say it after I moved. It said it as I moved, like it knew before I did. My skin prickles. How are you doing that? I say.
I know you.
The voice says. Simple, final, like it's the least interesting fact in the room. In the plexiglass, I can see my reflection. Pale, jaw set, receiver at my ear. And behind it, tall, patient, a shape that wasn't there a moment ago. Not moving, just present. Watching the door from the other side. There's something in the glass, I say.
I know.
It's been there since last time.
I know.
The voice says again. Same register, no alarm in it.
Don't look at it directly,
Why?
because you'll lose the thread.
A beat.
You always do.
I keep my eyes forward. My reflection stares back. The shape behind it doesn't move. It's just tall and still, and positioned like a man who has been standing in one place for a very long time. I swap the receiver to my left hand, deliberate. A small act of control. The voice says nothing. Doesn't correct me, doesn't comment. That silence is somehow worse than if it had. What's the one thing, I say?
When we're done,
The voice says,
you're going to hang up, not drop it, not set it down fast. Hang it up. 3 movements. Deliberate.
why 3?
Because 2 is rushed and 4 is stalling.
The flatness of it. Like he's explained this before and found the number by process of elimination.
You'll want to rush. Don't.
I look at the cradle, the hook, ordinary plastic, and then what?
And then you leave.
Something in the way he says it. Not you go home or you drive away. Just you leave. Like the destination is beside the point. That's it, I say. I can hear the skepticism in my own voice.
That's it.
He says.
You've been making this complicated.
I almost laugh. I've been making this complicated?
Every time.
The voice says, and something in those 2 words lands wrong. Too weighted. Too worn. Like it's not a figure of speech. In the plexiglass, the tall shape shifts. Not toward me. Just a small adjustment. The way a person moves when they've been standing too long. When they're tired. When they're close to something they've been waiting on for longer than they can easily explain. My throat tightens. How many times have you done this? I say. The line hisses. The voice doesn't answer immediately. When it does, it says,
Enough to know you'll ask that question and then talk yourself out of what it implies.
I open my mouth, close it. Because he's right. My brain is already constructing the alternative explanations, already building the scaffold that keeps this manageable.
A hobby with a tax write-off.
The voice says quietly. The receiver goes cold in my hand. That sentence was never typed, never recorded, never said out loud to anyone. It was in my head yesterday morning, alone in my apartment before I left the house. What? I say, and my voice comes out strange. Thin.
You already knew you weren't leaving.
The voice says.
You knew it in the car.
I stand very still. The lot is empty behind me. The booth frame holds the cold air in. In the plexiglass, the tall shape is closer now, not threatening. Waiting. One hand almost at the glass. Okay, I say, because I need to say something, and that's all I have. Okay.
3 movements.
The voice says.
When you're ready.
I look at the receiver in my left hand, then at the cradle, then at my reflection, pale and strange in the cloudy plexiglass, the shape behind it finally still. I'm ready, I say. I'm not. But I've run out of better options, and the gap in my tape is 6 minutes long and I can't account for it, and I need this to be over. 1, I say, and lower the receiver toward the cradle. Slow, deliberate. 2, and I guide it in, the cord following in a slow arc. 3, and the plastic meets the hook with a soft, clean click. The line goes dead. The booth goes quiet. The air pressure shifts like a door ceiling. I exhale hard, chest burning, and step out of the frame. The gravel is the same gravel my car is where I left it. The dead storefronts, the cracked asphalt, the weeds pushing through the seams, all present, all correct. I stand there for a moment, just breathing, letting the open air be a fact. Then I look up. The sky is stopped. Not overcast, not still. Stopped. A bank of clouds caught mid-roll, frozen in a shape they were only passing through. A bird between wing beats suspended at an angle flight doesn't allow for. The light fixed at late afternoon, the shadows pinned exactly where they were when I arrived. Not a degree different. I stand there and my brain does what it always does, reaches for the category, the drawer, the label, finds nothing. Opens the next drawer, nothing. Keeps opening drawers with increasing speed while the sky sits overhead, patient and permanent and completely cosmically wrong. My hand goes to my coat pocket. Pure reflex. The documenter's instinct. When reality stops making sense, record it, get it down. Make it obey you through documentation. The pocket is there, the recorder isn't. I press my hand flat against the fabric. Pat down the other pocket. The inside pocket. Nothing. Not lost, not fallen, just absent. The way things are absent here. The way things are absent in a place that doesn't need evidence because nothing in it is going anywhere. I turn around slowly. The booth stands behind me, warped frame and milky plexiglass exactly as it was. But through the cloudy panels across the lot, a figure is approaching. Slow, uneven. Camera bag on one shoulder. A recorder clipped to the coat pocket. My recorder, on a coat I'm no longer wearing. The rip in his jeans runs from the knee down the shin, a long, crooked mouth of denim, and he's favoring the leg. He hasn't spotted the booth yet. He's looking at his phone, matching shapes against a satellite map. Roofline, service road, dumpster enclosure. Enough landmarks to determine the location. I watch him find it. Watch his pace slow as the booth resolves out of the background. Watch him stop just for a moment. The way you stop when something is exactly where you expected it to be, and that fact is somehow worse than if it weren't. I know that feeling. I'm standing in it. I look down at the stopwatch in my hand. 6 seconds. My throat makes a sound that isn't a laugh. I know exactly what he's going to find. I watch him stop in front of the booth. He stands there the way I stood there. That specific stillness of a person trying to decide if curiosity is the same thing as courage. The phone rings. I'm the one making it ring. I watch him reach for the receiver. I watch his face when he picks it up. That particular expression of a man who has just done something he can't undo and knows it. I've worn that face. I know exactly how long it stays. I bring my receiver to my lips.
And that was the phone booth. Every archivist eventually meets the thing that was already archiving them. Jack kept impeccable records. The phone kept better ones. This, for the historians in the audience, is what's known as a primary source conflict. If you enjoyed tonight's story, subscribe for more, leave a like, and share it with someone who appreciates the darker things. New original horrors from Macabre Miscellanea arrive every week. Until next time, remember, the archive has a box for everyone who needed to see for themselves.